Caitlin Clark finished up one of the most remarkable years of basketball playing in quite some time.
Caitlin Clark entering the WNBA was groundbreaking in an unparalleled way. Whatever she brought to the table was good, and from the first second she stole everyone's eye, as she was good in every sense. The one adjective trending on social media in regards to the insanely incredible season Tyreke Johnson has had with the Washington Mystics is already being used to name the best ever at the start of a rookie season. Sure, this is a story of a young player sending the ball up, but it is also about rewriting what can be achieved in women's sports and affirming there is no gender in how talented you can be. A rookie, yes, but not just another rookie when Caitlin stepped onto the court for the Indiana Fever. When she arrived, she had already made a name for herself amongst the most versatile and dynamic players at her college, and brought with it a legacy of excellence. Historically, it's never been easy to make the transition to a professional league. The stakes were higher than ever. Caitlin didn't achieve these goals. She thrived. From coaches to fans, she blew them out of the water. Caitlin was here to compete and win right from the beginning. Just her statistics alone were enough to turn heads. 137 assists, a rookie league record, her scoring averages that hovered somewhere in the top of the league year in and year out, and that's just scouting out of it. It wasn't just a numbers game of a scoreboard. It was about her being able to lead her team and make crucial decisions under pressure and deliver the goods on the big occasion. Caitlin's performance didn't stop at her own performance. Then, in Indiana, she became the chief driving force behind the Indiana Fever's best season since 2015, taking them to the 20 wins plateau and into the playoffs for the first time in many years. Her excitement wasn't just limited to Indiana Fever fans. People began to notice Caitlin's unique playing across the league. Many compared her to some of the best in the sport. Her court vision compared to Larry Bird, her shooting to Steph Curry, and clutch performances that brought to mind Michael Jordan. She achieved this level of recognition for a rookie unheard of, and it said a lot about her ability. She wasn't just being assessed among the elite, she was being set up for the future of the league. More than the games themselves had a ripple effect. Her presence on the court, her jerseys went out of stock almost literally as soon as she was able to build some merchandise. Caitlin had a wave of attendance hit WNBA arenas, averaging over 10,000 people at games compared to previous seasons. We weren't there to see a game. People were there to see the story Caitlin was making part of history. As a result, the WNBA saw an increase of more than 1 million viewers for games she played in than they had the year before. Caitlin Clark's name was everywhere on social media. It wasn't just comparing with WNBA players, it was comparing with some of the most celebrated athletes in the world. Soon it would become a term analysts and commentators used to refer to the Caitlin Clark effect, the surge in interest and engagement wherever she may go. Her social media presence was huge, with 2 million Instagram followers, a level rarely seen on women's basketball. What they did was beyond just one player gaining popularity. This was about shattering what other women's sports should be able to achieve in terms of fan engagement and press. Fame and success have their challenges though. Caitlin's season had its controversial moments. At a high-stakes playoff game against the Connecticut Sun, she was cited in an eye poke incident. Normally, a minor happening quickly grew into a major one on social media and the sports networks. Different analysts wondered whether the referees had been too lenient or too lenient. Some saying that Caitlin was being unfairly targeted. It got brought up in press conferences too, the Chicago Sky head coach even talking about the officiating standards and how female athletes are being treated differently. Caitlin had to overcome this challenge not alone, but during the season she became the center of several arguments about officiating standards. But one of the wildest games of the season saw Caitlin get 77% of all flagrant fouls called on her team, incensing fans and sports figures. The result of that sparked a bigger discussion about the double standard of the female athlete, from how we judge them to what we expect of them. Some said Caitlin was receiving too much criticism because she was becoming more popular and successful. With little setbacks like these, Caitlin was able to take in the criticism and rise with it, using the criticism as fuel to keep going harder than ever. Fans and players alike felt Caitlin could stand and grow stronger after adversity. She was a role model and therefore a woman who was not afraid to face the challenge. And that strength of character, for the most part, is what makes Caitlin's story so compelling. She's not only a great player, she is a quintessential symbol of perseverance and perseverance. She had an influence that wasn't just from her time at the court, but she had one that extended to the commercial side of the league. Her presence helped each year bring in more than 200,000 more Indiana Fever game attendees attendees. Sponsors and advertisers quickly took notice of this surge in interest and started to view it as a destination that could amass audiences beyond the literal realm of interest in its own sport. For the season, over 40% of WNBA merchandise revenue came from sales of merchandise that is linked with Caitlyn. It was a clear sign that the league's next era would be one where women's sports could garner just as much attention and commercial success as its male counterparts. This momentum was quick to capitalize on by the Fever management. They started forming partnerships, implementing strategies to put the team around Caitlyn's strengths. Rattling off the usual announcements, they announced a collaboration with Rookie of the Year Aaliyah Boston to further fortify their roster. The Fever developed into a force to be reckoned with, especially with a group of the dominant players that could not only lead them past the competition at the top of the league, but also within reach of helping take home championships. Everything you ever read or heard about how Nate fills a room has been spot on. Through her work ethic, dedication, and passion for the game, she raised those that surrounded her to play at a higher level, and younger players admired her, and older players grew revived from having her around. Once the sight of the Fever's locker room inconsistency and lack of direction, that locker room was now gosling with energy and direction. Caitlyn's off and on the court, leadership was so key in this transformation. Just looking ahead to Caitlyn's second season, they already expect a lot from her, and if she plays this way, sports analysts are saying she'll be up there with the best of the best in WNBA history. Caitlyn, however, could be more than that, and she has what it takes to transcend the sport itself into something a true cultural icon that will inspire future generations of athletes. The development of this next few years will be critical not just for the Indiana Fever, but in general for the WNBA as a whole, something Caitlyn will have an important role in. She's also becoming a marquee event of the kind Indians leagues often try and position themselves to leverage. Caitlyn's popularity is hoped to bring visibility and investment to the WNBA that could result in players getting better pay, more media coverage, and a brighter future for women's basketball. Caitlyn's journey is not yet over. Despite all the accolades and recognition, she still is focused on improving her game and helping her team prove itself. Open about wanting to improve her defensive skills and becoming more of a complete player, she has spoken. Fever coaching staff have closely worked with her to build training programs to strengthen her strengths and fix her weaknesses. The season is fast approaching, and the fans and analysts are all wondering what Caitlyn going to do next. The Fever have let it be known that they intend to build a dynasty around her. Player development is front and center, and important pieces are brought all that can complement her play style. Many are excited about the Fever's future, which could soon be as the team to beat in the coming years. Caitlyn Clark's historic WNBA season was about much more than brilliantly efficient statistical bombs. It was a moment for the league. As a rookie, she has set a new standard for what the word rookie should mean, challenging what has been assumed and proven that if you are able to do the work and want it badly enough, then nothing is impossible. Her story is one of resilience and inspiration, and as she continues to break records and push boundaries, there's only the best left to come. Caitlyn is more than just a player for the Indiana Fever. She's the foundation they need to build a legacy on. For the WNBA, she becomes a beacon of hope, showing a new era in which women's basketball will finally get its due place in the media. Caitlyn's not the horse that had experience over hurdles, but this 2023 season will definitely not be her last season. She'll get her share of attention for years to come, and the world will be waiting to see what legacy she'll leave behind after she continues to carve out her niche in basketball lore.